Greetings, guitar engineers. I'm Desi Cerna, and in this video, I want to take a look at the guitar hook played in the song My Best Friend's Girl by the Cars. This is a very popular song, and everybody loves this twangy rockabilly lick that you hear after the song's choruses. So we're going to take a close look at this part of the song. I'm going to examine it and work it out. We're going to take a look at some different forms of the tablature that I found online, and we're going to take a look at some live videos that I found on YouTube. At the end of this video, you'll understand how this part was put together and played, and you'll also understand the process that I use to learn songs. So it should be a lot of fun, and it's going to be interesting. Before we dive in, maybe this is just the sort of thing you should be working on right now, or maybe your guitar playing needs attention in other areas. If you're not sure what you should specifically be working on right now in order to improve your guitar skills and move forward and reach your music goals, go to my website, guitarmusictheory.com, answer the questions I ask you about your playing, and I'll send you free custom video instruction calibrated to your current level. I'll show you exactly what you need to do to get your guitar skills in order right now so you can move forward and reach your playing goals. Enroll in your free video course now at guitarmusictheory.com. You can click on the link in the video description. All right, let's dive in. So here is the original song on YouTube. All right, so what we're hearing sounds like it's in the key of F. But let's take a look at the official tab and let's see what's going on here. So here's the official tab on ultimateguitar.com. I have a paid membership, and so I can view the official tab, and it's inexpensive and a very good deal and a very useful tool if you're learning lots of songs. Now they say the song was played in the key of E, using the open E and A here, but that the tuning of the guitar had all the strings a half step higher. That seems a little strange. Here's the tablature for the same song at sheetmusicdirect.com. Also a fantastic resource if you're trying to learn songs and you want to find accurate transcriptions. I have a paid membership here too, but you can actually just download and purchase songs one at a time without having to have a paid membership. And this also says play in the position of E major, starting on the open E string, and that all the strings are tuned up a half step. Again, that seems kind of strange. Guitar players typically don't do that. So after a little Googling and researching, I read online that the song was actually recorded in the key of E, starting with the open E string. And then after the song was recorded, that the whole recording was sped up so that the music was a little bit faster and the pitch increased from E to F, and then that's how they actually released the song. That makes more sense to me. It would be very unusual for the whole band to tune up a half step. Typically doesn't happen. Sometimes players will tune down a half step. The same thing happened in the song Rambling Man by the Allman Brothers Band. It actually is... if you look at the official tab, it says to tune up a half step and then play in the position of G, but it'll sound like G sharp. But I learned that they actually play in the position of G, and it was sped up after the fact. And then if we look at live recordings, or live versions rather, of this song by the Cars, we can see that they're playing in the key of E. And here's another live version. And again, clearly we can see that they're playing in the position of E. So I believe that was in fact how it was recorded, and it was sped up after the fact. So I would not tune your guitar up to F unless you wanted to match the original recording while you practice this. Instead, what I did is I played along with the live versions. And then I also used a program called Song Surgeon to take the original recording down a half step to its actual original recorded key. All right, so here's the original recording now in the Song Surgeon app. Sounds like it's in the key of F. but I am gonna lower this a half step. Okay, and now it is sounding in the key of E. So I like to use Song Surgeon to transpose songs and slow them down and do other things, but there are other apps on the market that do something similar. Anyway, so let's jump to the actual lick that we're going to be focusing on and deconstructing. It comes in right at the end of the chorus. She's my best friend's girl. Here it is. All right, so let's see if we can figure this out. So I'm back to Ultimate Guitar. I'm gonna take a look at the tab. And so this happens after, let's see, verse 1, chorus. It comes after the chorus, so it would be this next section here. And they're calling it Guitar Solo 1. Let me back up. This is the rhythm guitar. You can see there's different tracks here. And I'm gonna solo, let's see. Solo this rhythm guitar. Is this what I want? Yeah, okay, that's it. Right there, I've got the metronome turned on here. I want to hear it with the click. And so I could go through and work this out. I'm going to tap my foot here so it's... Oh, wait a minute. I'm in the key of E. This tablature is in the key of F to match the sound of the recording. Well, I can come down here, click on these little dots, and I can adjust the pitch. So here's the pitch. I'm going to bring it down by a half step. And now it should sound in the key of E. Yep. All right, so kind of coming back here and following that tab. So that actually sounds very close, if not note for note to me. It seems to match the recording. Let me talk about my sound here before we go any further. So I'm playing a classic vibe Squier Telecaster, although it's had some work done on it by John Scott at Bluesman Vintage Guitars in Spring Hill, Tennessee. So he replaced most of the hardware and the electronics, and he wound these pickups. So it sounds a lot better than your typical Squier Telecaster. I'm playing through my Kemper profiling amplifier. I'm using an amp profile pack from Tone Junkie called the 67 Pro Reverb, because as I listen to this recording, it sounds like it's a twangy sort of rockabilly sound, probably some sort of old Fender style amp. And so this is the profile that to my ears, as I was scrolling through the profile, sounded most like it. And I've got some reverb, and I also have a slapback delay that I just turned on here. And this sounds very much like what you hear in the recording. I've got my Telecaster in the middle position, so I've got the bridge and the neck pickup on. Tone and volume are all the way up. All right, so the tablature sounds pretty accurate here, but I actually want to compare it to some of the live versions that I found on YouTube. Fortunately, there's some great old live versions of the Cars playing this song, so I want to take a look at what the guitarist Elliot Easton is doing just to see if I can learn more about this part. All right, so I've got it queued up, and we're coming right into that part. Okay, well this is strange because I saw him come up here to this position, but the tablature had all the notes written down here, and it sounded accurate, but he's actually coming up here. So wait a minute, maybe there's a little bit more to this story. So let me take a closer look at this again. All right, so Elliot Easton is all the way on the left side. He's a left-handed guitar player, and he's playing the Telecaster there. And did you notice how his hand was up near like the 4th or 5th position? Yep, there it is again. He's moved up a bit. Whoa, right there. Look at that. So he's clearly, it almost looks like he's coming up to play a bar chord. Well, why would that be? I don't know. Let's back this up a little bit. And I can even come over here to the settings in YouTube, and I'll go to the playback speed, and let's bring it down to maybe 75%. See if we can slow this down a little bit. Yeah. Why is he coming up there? And let's slow it down even more, maybe 50%. All I'm hearing up there is same notes in the tab, which is E and B, but for some reason, he's choosing to fret them up here on string 2, 5th fret, and string 3, 4th fret, but he's also barring, and he also has his ring finger down. It's like he's doing this or something, but it seems like he's only picking the 2nd and the 3rd strings. Well, okay. I'm not sure why he's going through all of that trouble. Let's see if we can get some more information by watching some other live recordings. All right, here's another live video. Let's see what happens here. Oh, I saw him move up. There he is. He's doing it again. And look at that. It looks like he is playing a bar chord there. But I'm not really hearing anything. I'm not hearing any bass notes. I'm not hearing any of the other notes that might be part of that chord shape. I'm just hearing E and B. All right. I'm a little perplexed. I feel like I'm missing something important on this riff. So I'm gonna keep looking. In fact, that's what I did. And I ended up finding a video of Elliot Easton doing an amp demo, and in it he played a portion of this song. So let's watch that, and we'll have a nice little isolated shot of him playing this.
Get it right, it should go something like this.
Oh boy, nice clear shot of him doing this. I'm going to slow this down and go back and watch that again.
If you get it right, it should go something like this.
He does look like he is playing a bar chord there. Like think about a C sharp minor 7, but then he's extending it all the way to the 6th string. Physically, that's what he's doing, but if you watch his picking hand, he just picks the 2nd and the 3rd strings. That's the E and B, which is the same as the open 1st string and 2nd string. Watch his picking hand, and you'll see that that's all he's picking.
It should go something like this.
Here it comes. Watch his picking hand. Then he moved on. But before we move on, this is unusual. He's coming up here and making this entire like bar chord shape only to fret E and B, which he could have done with the open 1st string and 2nd string. So he could have gone but he played it there instead, same notes, and for some reason he went through all the trouble of barring. Why would he do this? I have no idea. I watched these videos. I spent a lot of time thinking about this, and I'm like, what is the point? I wish he were here so I could pick his brain and understand it. Perhaps this part was written while he wasn't playing with the band, and so he was playing a portion of the E chord like this, you know, and then he came up here, and maybe he played like E and C form, partial C form, you know, but he barred. And he just got so used to doing that that even though he didn't need to, he was just going to play these notes. I don't know. I have no idea. Do you have an idea? Post them in the comments below. But all I know is that if I want to recreate this part and sound like the recording, I need to pick the notes that he's picking, but I don't necessarily need to do the other stuff that he's doing because it's not doing anything. So I can play the E and B like that, and that will sound just fine. Okay, back to the tab on Ultimate Guitar. Here's that part. So, starting right here. And then instead of going open first and second string, Elliot Easton came up here and went and barred it. Whatever. I'm just going to go, I don't need the bar. And then from here, it looks like we have a muted string, the second string, and then let's get that playhead out of the way. And then we've got so that's 2, 3, 4, 1. It says hammer on. I like to use a slide, and you're going to see in a moment here that I think that's what Elliot Easton did. He slides. We're following the chord changes here, which are E, A, and B, 1, 4, 5, and E. That takes us into our A chord. And if we look at what comes after that, that's part of an A chord. Then it goes to B. The music goes to B, but the tab just goes. So it's kind of interesting, like what's happening here in the music is you have a little bit of this kind of old school rockabilly thing, you know? Like a B major, or add the sixth in there. I'm doing that with my pinky. There's also a little bit of this technique where you would play the open first and second strings and sustain them like pedal tones over your 1, 4, and 5. B. So it's kind of a combination of that. So sometimes you're playing some chord tones and sometimes you're just, there's a lot of emphasis on sustaining the root and fifth there over the changes. All right, so back to Elliot here. Whoop. Okay, notice what he's doing. When he went to the A chord, he went E, C sharp, A, as opposed to going like the Ultimate Guitar said, picking it. He went like this. So if I back up, he also played the open E at the beginning, and he was holding an E chord even though he never played any of these notes. He went to an E chord and he used his pinky for the pull off in the second string. Also, when he did his muted note, he did the first string muted, and then he did another muted on the third string, and then he went, so it's, and let's actually watch that again slowly.
Go something like this.
So that's. So you got some of this kind of muted technique that's used in rockabilly. This got a very strong rockabilly influence to it here. And then for the A, instead of going E, C sharp, A, he went E, C sharp, using kind of A in its long form or A in G form, if you want to think of it that way. So back to Ultimate Guitar, they had the right notes here, E, C sharp, and A. And really, it's going to sound the same either way, but Mr. Easton actually fretted that E with his pinky up at the 5th fret of the second string. I like to cross-reference Ultimate Guitar with Sheet Music Direct. Oftentimes, Sheet Music Direct is more accurate, but I prefer the player controls, the practice tools of Ultimate Guitar. So we're over here at Sheet Music Direct, and let's just see how they have it tabbed. And we already talked about how they say to tune up a half step, but actually I just transposed the recording down. One thing I would point out is that Sheet Music Direct got this beginning of the song correct. If you listen carefully to the recording, it's an E power chord, then an A power chord, but it's not a B power chord. It's B and a major third, D sharp. And that, it is written correctly here. There it is, B. There's the B, and there is the D sharp here in Sheet Music Direct. Whereas Ultimate Guitar had it as an E power chord, A power chord, and look at this, they just had a B power chord in there. Kind of a critical oversight because that's an important part of what you hear at the beginning. Anyway, back to Sheet Music Direct. Let me scroll up to when we have this little guitar interlude, is what I think they call it. Lots of great guitar parts in this song, by the way, but I'm just focusing on this interlude here. Okay, so here it is right here, the interlude. We're looking at this particular tab line right here, and they have it written as... Okay, so interesting that they got the mute on the first string, then they had that little double hit on the third string. I was muting it. They actually have it as a fretted note. So I was, if I played this section right here, I was going, but they have it as whatever. I actually like to mute that note right there. And then you get into the A, and they have the 5th fret. So they have 5, 2, 2 there. So that is more, that is the way that Elliot Easton played it. All right, let's go back to Elliot here and see how he finishes this. Oh, interesting. So again, he made use of the fretted E and even a fretted B here instead of the open strings. So back to Sheet Music Direct. So they got that correct, 5th fret, but then here, instead of playing the open E and the open B, Elliot actually went and fretted those notes like this. But then he did finish like this. Open first string, then hammer on at the end there. And that kind of completes the first 2 measures. Then he goes through the changes again, and it's going to end a little bit differently. But let me play it the way that Elliot played it in that little amp demo video. So it's, well, he actually put the E on beat 1, which we don't see in any of the tab, probably because as you're playing along with the music, the rest of the instrumentation is playing the E there for you, so you don't have to play on beat 1. But let's go ahead and put it in there. So it's... And then you could repeat. Let me just repeat that 2-bar section. 1, 2, 3, 4. Repeat. All right, so that's very close to what Elliot Easton was playing. I didn't finger all the notes of the E chord. I didn't finger all those notes up here that I didn't need, but I was actually picking and playing the same notes that he's playing. Okay, so then you go through that again, following the chord changes again, but it ends a little bit differently the second time. So let's see what Elliot does. he goes on into the solo here, but we've got so it gets cut short. You come from the A, and you go into a C sharp, which is following the B chord there, and he lets that ring, and that's kind of how he resolves this section. So the second half would be the rhythm is kind of tricky here, the way that you're starting, off the beat, so you really have to pay attention and got to have good rhythm. And I actually would consider this to be, consider this to be kind of advanced level guitar playing. When you play it like up to tempo with the music and you get the rhythm and the muted strokes and everything, I feel like this is not something that a beginner or even an intermediate would be able to play easily. This is some pretty sharp technique. So let me put the whole thing together slowly for you. So and now let's see if I can speed it up and play at the tempo. All right, so I'm pretty satisfied with that, and I've listened carefully to the recording and slowed it down, and I've watched the live versions, and this little lick comes up in other parts of the song, and if you listen carefully, there's some variation. So sometimes he plays it a little bit differently than this, but this is the basic part. So I just decided that I didn't need to be too concerned with any of the variations and spend any more time on it. I was satisfied with this. If I were going to play this song in a band, if I just played it like this every time, it would sound great. No one's going to realize that, oh, wait a minute, in the original recording on the third time there was a slight variation. I didn't feel that was important. Maybe it's important to you. Maybe you're a big fan of this song. Maybe there's a particular variation in this song that just grabs your attention, and so you want to slow it down and isolate it and listen to it. I will say that it's all based on this same stuff. So it's just a variation on these same notes and some of these same licks that we're using here. Now, if you're struggling to put this together and practice, you could go back to Ultimate Guitar, and you could actually play it the way that Ultimate Guitar has it tabbed. This is different than how we saw Elliot Easton finger it, but it will actually sound virtually the same. So if you're more comfortable just following Ultimate Guitar, you could do that. And then you can also highlight some measures. Let me take just a couple measures here, and you could loop them. So I've got this isolated, I'm soloing this track so I don't hear the other instrumentation. I want to hear the guitar part clearly. I've got the metronome turned on so I can hear when the notes land on and off the beats. And I can even adjust the speed and slow this down. Maybe you need to slow it down even more. That's better. I think I messed it up the first time. I mean, I could slow it down even more. I'm also tapping my foot as I do this. I want to train myself to feel when the notes, to feel where those beats land. So I can feel, I want to keep track of that first beat and know that I play after it. Again, next time I go to the open first string, or up here if you go there. So I still want to tap my foot. I want to internalize that pulse, and I want to get a feel for where those notes are landing so I can play this correctly. And this is what I like about Ultimate Guitar. I can highlight certain measures and break it down. Maybe I'm working on the second half after I get the first half down, so I want to just do that. Speed this up a little bit. That was a little too slow for me. Second half. And then once I get the whole thing down, I can practice the whole thing. Let's speed this up again. Whoops. Let's try that again. And maybe I want to finger it the way that Elliot Easton fingered it. So let me do that. Let me try that again. I put in some of those extra muted notes that I heard Elliot Easton do. I turned my slapback delay off as I was playing that rhythm guitar part earlier. Let's put it back on. You hear that? That's the rockabilly slapback delay there. Ah. All right, so that's how you play that famous part. I only recently learned this. I've been listening to this song, it seems like my entire life, and I've always been a fan of the guitar parts in this song, and particularly that lick. And I just said, you know what? I want to figure that out, and I want to learn it. I used to toy around with it just kind of by ear and had something that was similar, but I wanted to take a closer look and see how accurately I could do it. So I paid attention to a lot of the details. For example, I realized that he was using a Telecaster guitar in the middle position, using a really twangy amp sound. So I pulled up something similar in my Kemper profiling amplifier. I added the reverb, I added the slapback delay. I watched the live versions on YouTube. I looked at the tab. I was very fortunate to find that video where he was doing an amp demo for line 6, and then he broke that down so I could see him up close and playing that unaccompanied. So that really helped. And I actually went back to older live videos back from like 78 and 79, and I can see that he actually was fingering it the same way. So he hasn't really changed the way that he plays it. So I learned a little bit about Elliot Easton's idiosyncrasies and the way that he fingers things. But it just helped me confirm at least that I had the correct notes, that I had the correct muted strokes in there, and then I got the right feel for this part. And so by having the live videos in front of me and having some different versions of the tab in front of me, being able to play along with the metronome like I can on Ultimate Guitar, being able to listen to the song and slow it down in a program like Song Surgeon, all of these things really helped me put this together. And I did work on this before I started rolling tape here and to make this video. So it was a longer process than what you're seeing here. But this is the process that I typically use when I'm trying to learn a song if I want to, if I really want to deconstruct it well and attempt to try to play it as accurately as I can. So you can follow the same process, and you can take advantage of all these tools and resources we have online that make it easier and make it possible for you to learn songs at a level that wasn't always possible in the past. back when I used to play in bands for years, I didn't have this stuff at my disposal. So I just had to listen to a recording and come up with something that sounded similar. And that's often what I did. And that can work for a lot of situations. But nowadays, I oftentimes find myself going back and relearning songs that I had already learned in the past, but now I'll take a look at the official tab and some live videos and slow it down. And almost always I realized that there really were some details that I missed, and I found that I could actually play it better and more accurately. And I just learned something that helped make me a better guitar player, helped me appreciate the song that I was learning more. Now, in interviews, guitarist Elliot Easton says that this guitar part was inspired by the guitar heard in the song I Will by the Beatles. So let me pull up a little bit of that song and listen to what you hear in it.
If you want me to, I will. Or if I...
All right, so clearly there are some similarities here. Probably not a copyright issue because this is not the main melody of the song. This is just kind of like an added little guitar fill or hook. I'm not sure what the legalities are. So here's I Will by the Beatles on Ultimate Guitar. And here, let me back this up. Here is that guitar part we just heard. Let's solo it so I can hear it without the distraction of the other instrumentation. Wow, a lot of similarities with the timing of it, with that little half step slide or hammer on. Also in the key of F. Remember, the original recording for My Best Friend's Girl was actually changed so it sounded like it's in the key of F. So if I play this here, I've got, well, let me just play along with it, see if I can do it. Well, I missed it. So, yeah, playing off of the F and kind of using that's a sixth. And then the 4-chord B flat, and then taking you back to F. So I could put a capo on my guitar and play it using a capo. And then I could take the capo off and then move everything down a half step. And then I can go to Best Friend's Girl. And you can see it is indeed very, very close. So here's something else we can take away from this. Elliot Easton was known for filling all of these hit songs by the Cars with all of these very hooky and catchy guitar riffs and solos and various parts that no doubt added to what made those songs sound so irresistible. Where did Elliot Easton come up with all these ideas? How is it that he had such a great vocabulary of guitar licks and phrases? Well, because first and foremost, he was a fan and a student of music. And so he was learning songs from the 50s and the 60s and using his ear to learn this stuff off records and watch other guitar players play. And that's how he would have built up his own vocabulary so that when it was time for him to be creative and original, he had all sorts of ideas that he could apply to his music. In some cases, it's very obvious, like here, this sounds almost at times like a note-for-note copy of the guitar in I Will. At other times in the music, you may not necessarily make the connection specifically from something Elliot Easton played to another song, but surely there is a connection there because all great guitar players learn from other players and then learn how to kind of repurpose what they've learned over their own music. And you should do the same thing, and that's why I'm always stressing the importance of learning songs. And that's in part why I made this video, to show you how you can learn a song and deconstruct a part. All right, well, if you found this video interesting and helpful, click like and leave me some positive feedback. If you have any questions or comments or something you want to add to this discussion, post them in the comments below. Perhaps this lesson is just the sort of thing you needed to see right now, or maybe your guitar playing needs help in other areas. Maybe you've gotten ahead of yourself. Maybe there's other things that you would like to work on. If you need help determining what you should specifically be doing right now in order to get your guitar skills in order the way you want so you can move forward and play your favorite music, go to my website, guitarmusictheory.com, answer the question I ask you about your playing, and I'll send you free custom video instruction calibrated to your current level. So I'll get you on a plan where you can start doing things right now that's going to fill in gaps in your playing, get your playing skills together so that you can move forward and reach your music goals. So enroll in your free video course now at guitarmusictheory.com. You can click on the link in the video description. All right, well, thanks for watching. I'm Desi Cerna. Before you go, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click on the notification bell to receive alerts when new videos are uploaded. Then keep playing and stay tuned for more.